In the words of Winston Churchill, never let a good crisis go to waste. A quote that was meant as a powerful yet hopeful message to the British people is perceived slightly differently today. The world has had its fair share of conspiracies, and this is one of them. Welcome back to the Wealth Lab, and thanks for checking in. The Great Reset is a collective name given to a collection of economic policies established to recover from the pandemic by building a better, brighter, and more sustainable future. Unveiled by the World Economic Forum and advocated by the UK's Prince Charles, this announcement has garnered endorsements from an impressive list of economists, politicians, business people, and celebrities. However, it has also garnered enormous amounts of criticism just 72 hours after the announcement dropped, with a petition to halt everything. Interestingly, the petition already attracted over 80,000 signatures. The basis of these policies sounded unpleasant, as any economics policy titled the Great Something is going to get a bad rep. These proposals take advantage of a disaster and deliver some ominous policies, giving room to some major conspiracy theories. A significant group of people believes that the Great Reset is bound to make them poorer, while another larger group of people think that the Great Reset will make us all slaves to the people who control the world. Now, respectfully, the marketing around this plan has not helped in any way. If you go right now and try to educate yourself about the Great Reset, you'll encounter bizarre ads centered around absolutely nothing, and a 2-hour panel that is just straight up life-suckingly boring. Moreover, these videos, documentations, and ads are highly vague. It doesn't aid in researching what these policies achieve, neither does it explain the economics. It doesn't answer any question at all. So, what is the Great Reset actually offering? Does the Great Reset have any merit? Who and what are the key players involved in driving this plan? Is this an evil scheme or just a victim of terrible marketing? Well, in this video, we'll explain everything. Enjoying this video so far? Remember to hit that subscribe and like button. Okay, let's get back to the video. With an apparent lack of respect or support from notable economists, Time magazine has created an info page explaining the idea. The magazine has also broken down the proposal with cameos from its key supporters such as models, Reddit co-founders, and ex-royals. However, outside of Klaus Schwab, the chairman of the World Economic Forum, there aren't any notable economists that support this idea. The Great Reset has just had horrible marketing, believing that with endorsements from people like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that people would jump on board in contrast to endorsements from no names. But you know what? That's okay. I could name several brilliant ideas that don't make it anywhere because they fail to get the much needed push. Economists don't really support this idea because the Great Reset is just another economic plan with a bloated wish list of things. Starting from independent media to demilitarization, support for the arts to feasible architecture, these could all be great driving points, but the marketing has just made it confusing. You can see how illogical and vague the proposal has made these points appear. What they could have done was explain the economics, the long-term effects, and confronted things head-on, rather than adding fluff to just sound more economic and intelligent. I mean, why not just go for simplicity? It is a colossal plan, a gigantic proposal. Not everyone has the drive or time to study and follow economics. However, they are part of the economy, so why don't you just explain to people in layman terms? I guess we'll never know. It serves them right though that they're victims of conspiracy theories happening around the world. All they had to say was that the Great Reset aims to ensure that every recovery stimulus, including fiscal and monetary stimulus, should adhere to green conditions. Given that 2020 has been chaotic and fiscal stimulus has been an important topic, that's it. That's all they had to say. But they added unnecessary fluff words tacked on purely for economic proposals. Such policies are happening all around the world. Look at the infrastructure spending in China, or the quantitative easing in Japan, the United States, or other countries worldwide. We've seen how fiscal stimulus can be an excellent opportunity to invest money. This is something that needs to be improved in many nations. If a country is in desperate need of new highways, better schooling, or even a stronger military, you can't go wrong with fiscal stimulus. It is a great way to move money. Just get the money out into the economy and into the hands of people who can go out and spend it so businesses can stay open, people remain employed, and the quality of life improves again. In fairness, any type of government spending can also achieve this core goal. Governments can raise skyscrapers from the ground up in population hotspots, and it will achieve the same results as fiscal stimulus, while also resulting in some side effects. Government spending on newer infrastructure allows them to put money out into the economy in the form of paychecks to workers, contractors, builders, commissions, architects, and engineers. They can also have something left over to provide utility for years to come. Enjoying this video so far? Remember to hit that subscribe and like button. Okay, let's get back to the video. What the Great Reset is planning is in the same ballpark, but is built exclusively towards constructing infrastructure for green technologies. For example, suppose you install solar panels on your home. So as long as you live in a sunny area, you can reduce your energy bills to the point that infrastructure will pay for itself a few times over, and consequently, reduce your carbon footprint. It may even add some value to your property. But the upfront costs of setting up solar panels just really doesn't allow that to happen. Similarly, you can see the same thing happen on a larger scale. Suppose you want to drastically reduce emissions and congestion, so you take thousands of cars off the road. But practically speaking, the upfront expense just doesn't make this a feasible solution. However, if it took a fraction of the cost to remove 1,000 cars off the road and was rolled out as a fiscal stimulus, you wouldn't believe your eyes. If the fiscal stimulus was redirected towards a project such as that, the cost would be unbelievable while putting money into people's pockets during times of economic chaos. The final problem is global cooperation that the Great Reset wants to advocate. All in all, the Great Reset has been putting up some pretty outstanding claims. However, they're difficult to solve and may be more unfeasible than feasible. Although the Great Reset may sound excellent, it could be really slow to implement. We can all advocate for green infrastructure, but there's a lot that goes into that. Proposals need to be compiled, plans have to be approved, lands need to be bought, and more. All of this can happen only when merchants and laborers start getting their paychecks to go through with this plan. However, it would take years to implement because many people will lose their jobs and go hungry and will stop contributing to economic growth. No matter what you say, giving people money wouldn't result in starvation or unemployment. Moreover, other problems in the Great Reset are that money can be spent towards a group that may or may not need it as much as other projects. Suppose the green infrastructure is handled through a company that specializes in these types of contracts. Their goal will be to save as much as possible because any money that isn't used is basically profit. Simultaneously, the profit may see its way back into the company via shareholders and reinvestments. It will not be nearly as fast as getting checks in the hands of working class people. Finally, once these green infrastructures are built, what are we going to do with it? It could be privatized to recover government expenses, but this basically means that a private company controls public service, and any service it provides will be held ransom behind a paywall. It could potentially enable higher tolls, higher electricity costs, and more expensive commutes. To summarize what the WEF proposed, here's a quick recap. It aims to increase investment into technical education so workers worldwide are qualified for employment in flourishing tech industries. The proposal also seeks to advocate long-term investments by private sectors into sustainable initiatives. It also envisions introducing a new dashboard for measuring economic success outside of GDP metrics. Now that we understand what the Great Reset is, what is proposed, let's get on to the conspiracies around it. While the WEF may have expected to be applauded for its efforts, the timing just wasn't right. People quickly thought that the global elites were using the pandemic to promptly roll out bizarre policies such as forced vaccination, digital IDs, and more. What's more, the Great Reset's marketing scheme simply failed. When the UK's COVID death toll hit over 50,000 people, the royal family posted a video endorsing the Great Reset. It had everything, from melting and crashing glaciers to beached whales and an extravagant monologue by Prince Charles. While the WEF proposal went mostly unnoticed at first, it wasn't too long until weeks after its announcements, directors and think tank members summarized the plan's intent to destroy the capitalist economy and reform the West. However, what sparked conspiracies was when a popular Fox News anchor took a dig on the Great Reset by saying that influential people are using the pandemic as a way to force economic change across the continent. She further solidified her stance with an allusion to Winston Churchill's quote, "Never let a crisis go to waste." Later, many influential media persons joined in on bashing the Great Reset. Some broadcasted that the elites were using the pandemic to crash the West and implement communism. To add to the conspiracy, most of the world's tech companies and CEOs started doing really well during the crisis. Elon Musk, for example, made over $150 billion and became the richest man by the end of 2020. Bitcoin went from $3,000 to $44,000 by the end of the year, all while people worldwide lost jobs, businesses had to shut, and economies were forced to close. Everything fell like a stack of dominoes, just one after the other, creating larger and larger tremors. People kept dying, were unemployed, and the Great Reset allowed them to direct their anger towards the WEF. It made them question why the elites were gaining so much money during the crisis. However, the suggestion that the world's elites planned the virus is nothing but a result of horrible marketing in a time of anxiety and stress. It is wholly without evidence. The emergence of the Great Reset is another example of a conspiracy theory that essentially allows people to direct their anger to something on the mainstream media. When left unchecked, conspiracies surrounding the Great Reset deter faith in democratic institutions and frames its leaders as part of a globalist plot and could lead to dangerous outcomes. So, be careful before you believe something on the internet. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next video.